following audio transmission is based on theory and is intended for entertainment purposes only. It's Doomsday and its affiliates will not be held liable for anything your dumbass does. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome, everybody, to It's Doomsday podcast. Today is January 16th, 2023. Time is 18:01, and joining me, as always, is the lovely Jake Dials. How are you doing, Jake?
Bro, I'm full of caffeine, vigor, and testosterone's flowing through my veins. There's nobody younger than me. I feel great. How are you?
I am doing well. Can you hear me okay today?
I can hear you really well. It's
It's what?
It sounds like the mic is inside your mouth a little bit.
Okay, let me...
Lots of gain.
How's that? Is that better?
That's way better, dude.
Okay. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out this new mixer, and I know that a lot of the times it's like I'm eating the mic. Would you believe me if I told you my gain is all the way off?
It's just your thunderous voice then.
Let me ask you this. Is that any better?
I feel like if it were any better, I'd get the tingles because of that voice.
Great. I love it. Anyway, so, dude, how was your Monday? How's everything going?
Oh, not too bad. Hour drive to go do some work, and then hour drive all the way back, and I got home at 5:15. And it was a typical day, dude. I don't have anything new or interesting to say, to be completely honest. Sorry, guys.
Oh, no, that's totally okay. So for those of you guys that don't know, a lot of people had the day off today. Today is Martin Luther King Jr. Day. He was a great gentleman within our history that did a lot for the civil rights movement in a very, very good gentleman-like manner. With no anger. Well, I'm sure there was anger there, but he did a really good job of suppressing it. And that's all I have to say about that.
I think his passion can come off as anger, and maybe that was it.
Well, no, I was just saying, like, if I were him, I would have a lot of reasons to be angry.
Well, mainly it's probably because of the bullets. I'd be mad by that, for sure. I wouldn't be happy if anybody tried to do that, but... he's got a lot of reasons to be angry, and he's got a lot of reasons to be happy because he affected a lot of change for good.
Right. I guess the point I was making was he didn't let his anger overtake him.
Yeah, that's an important thing.
Controlling it. Yeah.
That's an important thing these days where everybody seems like they're angry, you know?
Yes, they do. And so one thing I wanted to get into before we get into the show here, guys, the email, it's doomsdaypodcast@gmail.com. When we get into these, sometimes I always forget there's people listening to this later. So I got to kind of stop myself and remember that, hey, this is getting uploaded. Someone's going to hear this. So the email, it's doomsdaypodcast@gmail.com. If you out there listening don't know yet, Prep Stock tickets are on sale. Go to www.prepstock.ticketleap.com. Get your tickets. Come out and join us Columbus Day weekend in Townsend, Tennessee. And also, for those of you guys that don't know about this, I'm going to be pushing this a lot. Guys, we have came to the conclusion we want to try to acquire our own property for Prep Stock, okay? So if you decide you want to help us out with this, there's a website called freefunder.com. You go there, click Discover, type in Home for Prep Stock, and our little funding thing is going to pop up so you could donate to help us acquire this property, which hopefully we could get it done in under 5 years because that would be awesome.
5-year plan. I like it.
Right. And as Jake just said in the chats, share the show with your friends. Before we get into this, let me just go ahead and welcome everybody that's in the room here, guys. We've got Jake, Jelly, Ba Ramu. What's up? If you guys don't know, Ba and I are doing a little project together once a month now. We've got a Have Food Will Travel podcast, also known as Ozarks. What's up, dude? Angela's here. We've got Bethy. We've got myself, Kate, Cody Kane, Eric. Let's see who else we got in here. Merlot 30. Welcome in Merlot 30. Shelby Jack. Al, what's up? Big Daddy Al. American Honey, Rifle, and Mom of Two Boys. I hope everybody had a lovely Monday and it wasn't too stressful. I know this is one of those Mondays everybody has the day off because it is the holiday. And I know this always like puts a little bit of setback in everybody's week, right? Because they're used to getting up on Monday. Now everybody's going to think tomorrow is Monday and Friday is going to be Thursday, and it's going to screw a lot of people up, right? But you guys can get through this. I have faith in you that you'll get through it.
If it makes you feel any better, I did it on Saturday. I have to be at work at 8, and you know that thing you do where you like snap up awake because you're like, you ever done that where you thought you were like late for work and you didn't have to work at all? I did that thing, and I have to be at work at 8, and I snapped up awake, and the first thing I said was, "Oh shit!" And then I looked at the clock, and it was 8:20 on Saturday morning, and Alexa woke up, and she's like, "What?" And like I just stopped. I just froze, and I started looking around the room, and then I looked at my phone. And I was like, I thought I had to go to work. Now I just have to pee. And then I went to the bathroom, and then I went back to bed till like 10 o'clock.
That's funny. That is great. No, I have done that. Like, shit, I got to be up. And it's like, well, no, I don't. I don't have work or school today. There was one. So my oldest son, I don't remember what grade he was in or what year this was, came to me freaking out one day because the bus didn't show up. And I had to look at him and say, "Hey, bud, it's Saturday. The bus isn't showing up. You don't have school today." So I guess these are mistakes we make our whole life. And, you know, it's part of being human. It's hilarious.
Oh, it's never going to go away, man. The only thing that was great that went away was the 2-hour delays.
The 2-hour delays. I remember the 2-hour delays.
Yeah, we don't have those anymore. As
No.
adults, I say bring it back.
So, you know, I'm not going to go down a road of whose lives are more valuable and stuff like this. But if you feel that buses full of children shouldn't be on the road due to inclement weather, why is it okay to put adults on the road during inclement weather?
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying.
You know, I mean, makes sense. I mean, you won't let a plane fly in inclement weather, right?
I have to drive a giant van full of work tools.
Those tools are very valuable.
They are.
I mean,
but so is my life, you know?
Yes.
My life is inside there, and if it's super foggy, we're just chancing it, you know?
Right, exactly. So, Jake, I'm going to spring an interesting topic on you.
Okay.
And I swear to God, guys, this has nothing to do with myself, but I have this friend you see, and this is what he's going through. So I wanted to talk to you, Jake, about safeguarding yourself online. Right? Now, there's people out there that have ill intentions. Okay.
What?
What
do you mean?
There's people out there that could have ulterior motives or very ill intentions. People will use people, Jake. It's a horrendous thing. I've seen it firsthand. Let me tell you, Jake, if you ever acquire a following online, like if that ever happens, I know you got like 2 followers on YouTube right now.
Yeah.
But dude, if you ever get big, watch your back, man.
What?
It could be scary. It really can be.
Tell me more. I'm listening. I'm all ears right now.
All right. I got a whole 5 followers on YouTube now, right? And people are just chomping at the bit to get my attention.
That's twice as many as I got. Go on, continue. How does it feel to have all the fame rained down on your head?
Oh my God, this is gonna be a hard episode to take serious. But so Jake, guys, I'm obviously bullshitting. Jake has a pretty big following online. A lot more bigger than I have, right? For sure. We're just joking. But I'm starting to notice the more this following grows, and the more you're out there in this eye of social media. Now, I don't want to say the public eye, but just the eye of the internet. Hey preppers, do you want 10% off survival food? Go to www.readywise.com and use code DOOM10 at checkout for 10% off all your survival food needs. Again, that's code DOOM10 at checkout at readywise.com, DOOM10 for 10% off at readywise.com. It seems like more people are out to get you, they're out to attack you, they're out to use you, take advantage of you, all these things.
Yep.
And what I'm wondering is, because I haven't figured this out yet, and I'm learning, I'm making mistakes and I'm learning as I'm going. I don't always learn from my mistakes, but I'm trying now. So how do you decipher if somebody is like a true friend, if they're after you for your following, or if they're trying to kind of skate off what little success you may have found yourself? How do you know who the people are to safeguard yourself against? How do you know which people are genuine, which people aren't? And when you do discover these things, what is that proper exit strategy that can de-escalate versus escalate a situation? All these kind of things is what I wanted to talk about, because I got this friend, you see, and this friend's going through some stuff, and I feel kind of bad for this friend, and I want to get some good advice for this friend.
Well, you see, my one weak link in the weak chain link in the armor is that I'm very understanding and very forgiving, and I'm a very nice and patient man. But I don't let that cloud my judgment or my discernment. But I still give people chances. This is not something that I've had to deal with of recent. It's been rather probably half of my life. So I've had a little bit of practice in it, and you could say I'm a seasoned athlete in this respect. Some people, there will always be people on either side of this situation. And then there's everyone else in between of all of that. You're going to have people who will want to try to find out who you are, or find some stupid dirt on you that they think is dirt to just get at you. Everybody likes the hero's story, and the hero falls, and everybody says, yay! And then when the hero's gone, then they're sad, and then they're doubly mad at you. But everybody likes the fall and rise of the hero story, come back from the ashes, so to speak. So people, essentially, there are some people, believe it or not, Jester, believe it or not, they just want to watch the world burn. They don't care if you're good or bad or right or left or up or down or whatever you are. They don't care. They just, you just seem to be a person who's breathing air, and just the next person, the next notch on the bedpost, so to speak, in this sense. So discernment is paramount. And a lot of times people will be very nice to you because you have something that they want. And in this case, in today's world, a lot of that seems to be attention. Because most of our world these days, for the content creator, is attention-based. It's all about that attention. I've had people say, oh, you're doing a great job, your following's growing, awesome work, yada, yada, yada. And I've had people scorn me for that and call me a fraud because my accounts have grown to a substantial number, and they think that I just do it for views, and I'm not a real one, or whatever they think. And what I've kind of learned is, in nicer terms, screw them. That's it. I like to do sometimes what I call the post and drop, and I'll post something a lot of times, and then I'll just walk away, and that's it. And people say whatever they want in the comments. I don't give a crap. Doesn't bother me. But ultimately, if people are that upset by a social media post that they feel like they have to go on the attack mode to find out who somebody is, what their name is, their address, where they, where they eat, where they work, and all that stuff. Like, if you're that emotionally bothered by something somebody said on the internet, then I believe the issue is bigger than the creator you take issue with, and I think it just manifests as a example as the creator. Your issues seem to just take hold with the creator and not within yourself, and it's much easier to deflect all of those issues outward onto somebody else who's probably undeserving than it is to look inward and realize that, hey, maybe you're the problem.
I agree with you, and I did turn my mic down a little bit. So does it still sound like it's in my throat?
No, it sounds beautiful.
Good. That's what I was going for. Beautiful. So I am picking up everything you're putting down. So exit strategy wise, you said post and drop, right?
Yeah.
Right. That's good. So I don't like to be a mean or nasty person to people. I don't like doing that. And it's been to my own detriment, because typically when I have a problem with somebody, I would rather try to be nice and let it work itself out than going to them and being mean or nasty or rude or, anything of the sort,
Mm-hmm.
And I've watched myself have to cut ties, and I found it to be a very difficult thing to do in a nice way, because the thing I'm noticing now is people they can't take a hint. Right. So that's like totally off the table now. You can't do that. You have to be very direct with people. Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And even in doing so, when you are direct with people and you're very direct, like, hey, this isn't cool, I'm not having this, then you turn into this bad guy. You become this villain where
Mm-hmm.
it's, let me go on the offensive now and let me start attacking you because I don't like what you're saying. I don't like what you're doing. And that's why I'm like, is the post and drop method good? And how does one do that? And how do you not stoop to a very bad, like, dark place with that?
I don't think anybody can ever say that they've seen me stoop to a very dark, angry place with anything, right? Because I haven't.
Right.
You're not going to see any of that because I don't believe in it. I don't think you can be nice to a point, but nobody said anything about you having to be a pushover. And when it comes down to it, you create the content that you like, and if people don't like it, ultimately they don't have to watch. There's a balance here, and typically if people get mad, it's usually because you did not give them what they wanted. And 9 times out of 10, it's attention in some way, shape, or form. Whether you didn't stitch a video where they called you out, or you didn't reply to their comment where they called you out, and I'm a big believer that if you don't give it energy, it doesn't exist. And 99% of the time that really works for me. I'm not really concerned if somebody gets upset by something I said on the internet. Just saying that phrase makes me want to chuckle because it seems so superficial. And the reason why it seems so superficial is merely because it's content on the internet, and you can find 100,000 other people saying the exact same thing. Thank you for choosing me to be bothered, but here's somebody else who said the exact same thing. Why isn't your issue with them? It doesn't make a difference, dude. Just leave. It doesn't have to be nasty, but you have to draw a line in the sand. And I'll be nice to people. I always am, as much as I can be. And I don't believe in drama. I don't believe in the theatrics of all of that, and these back and forth stitches of creators calling each other out, and you said this, you said that, I'm going to expose this, I'm going to expose that. It's like, okay, go ahead, and then what? Well, I'm calling you out. I'm telling people you are who you are, what you really are about. Okay, and then what? What happens after that?
Listen, I'm digging this voice. Tell me more.
I mean, usually my response is like, okay, what happens after that? What are you going to do? And after you get past plan A, there's not really a plan B, because there's nothing in mind other than, even though a lot of these people seem like they don't care, or they're doing the Lord's work in a sense, they want the attention as well. And when you don't give it to them, they get upset. And when they don't have ammo to fire back with, they go away. So that's usually how I handle it. But when it comes to like DMs and things like that, you do have to draw a line in the sand, because you don't really owe an explanation to anybody. We make stuff on the internet. I mean, I'll be the first to admit a lot of it, sure, is superficial, for sure. A lot of people are very different in real life than they are as you see them on an app or on Clapper or TikTok or YouTube, because that's not how people act all the time. They are doing a show. Some of it is essentially a character. Like sometimes when I come in here all happy-go-lucky and making jokes and stuff, like I'm not that way 24/7. I don't think anybody thinks that I am.
I think
yes,
you
I mean I might be. I'm not that way 24/7. You know, I'm pretty chill like 99% of the time in my life. I'm pretty even across the board. But also, yes, it's an attempt to keep people engaged and entertained, because who wants to be lectured for an hour on something super boring? And if I talk like this the whole time, how excited are you going to be to listen and stay? No. So I talk to people like a regular person. So they're like, yeah, this is not incredibly boring. I think a lot of people have a lack of understanding when it comes to content creation as a whole and what people do. If you're a social media creator, of course what you're doing is for the views. Let's be realistic. Of course you want to grow your channel. You can make a career out of it. There's a viable opportunity to do so, and anybody who pursues that, I encourage them. I don't have any competition. I don't believe in tearing somebody else's building down so I can build mine. I think we can both build our own building and have our own property in our own space, and both can exist equally. I don't see any competition. I don't have any competition. I'm not competing against anybody besides myself. The rest of the stuff doesn't matter.
I can get on board with that, because I mean, you know, in the realm of how I do my content creation, there's a lot of people that do what I do, right? There's not just one guy out there doing preparedness content. There are a ton, and I know I am not at the top of the food chain in any way, shape, or form. And I honestly don't ever want to be. I'm happy in my little lane that I'm in, doing the things I'm doing. I'm quite content. And I don't think I would want to grow to the point where some of these bigger creators are, to where it's like they can't go to Walmart without someone being like, hey, I seen you on Instagram, or hey, I follow you online. I don't think I'd want to get to that point.
Fun little story that happened to me the other day. It happens a lot just because I have a lot of stuff out there. Not like on a regular basis, but it happens a lot. But I went to a customer's house, and after a half an hour in, she was like, "What's your name again?" And I said, "Jake." And she's like, "What's your last name?" And I said, "You look like you know me. What do you think it is?" And she said, "Dials." And I said, "Yeah." She's like, "Oh my God, I follow you on TikTok and blah, blah, blah." I was like, "Yeah. Cool, thank you." You know, I'm just really humble about it. And I was like, "What's your favorite video?" Or "What's one of your favorite videos?" Like, just, you know, I don't care. I think it's cool, man. People are really nice about it. It's really not that weird, you know, like there's no like paparazzi or anything like that anymore. That stuff doesn't exist because nobody's doing magazines. But there are occasionally people that walk around in stores and restaurants and stuff and see you, and it happens, man. And that's not a bad thing. Like, that's a sign of your work, that people like it and enjoy it and consume it. And it should be embraced to a point, but like, don't come to my house.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, obviously that's a thing. I understand that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No, but I mean, that is pretty cool in a sense, though. I mean, the only time I've gotten recognized so far was at prepper camp, but people knew we were going to be there. Right. Like, people knew. And that was a very cool experience. That'll stick with me for a long time. Like, hey man, I listened to the show. It's cool that you're here. And I'm like, yeah, dude, super sweet, man. It's a very cool experience. But so I guess, you know, one thing I'm kind of wondering too is, how do you decide what the separation for attention is? Like, well, not, maybe that's the wrong way to word this. How do you decide how much attention you should give someone that's following you, or somebody that's messaging you, or even another creator? What is the line when you say, okay, this person is clearly seeking too much attention? What do I do?
I give people plenty of attention. I'm actually make a point to do so. I try to respond to as many comments as I can across all my platforms and keep people engaged, because I've been the person who's looked up to other creators and tried to engage with them to kind of get to know them, to see if there's like a process that they do, not to like get an in with them, but to figure out the creative process and if there's a pattern or something that I'm missing. And pretty much all the time they never respond. They just never answer. And that sucks, because you have people, you do have people out there who legitimately look up to you, Jester, that you probably don't know about, or you do. Those things should be acknowledged, because that's a sign to show that you're paying attention and that you care about your crowd who's helping build you and your career. You should engage those people. I'm not going to say that it's your duty or responsibility, but in a way it kind of is, if that makes sense. You don't have to acknowledge people if you don't want to. That sets a precedent. But I choose to acknowledge as many as I can. But there is a line, and that line is drawn when somebody starts to take too much personal time from me, or start to affect their personal life into mine, if that makes sense.
Yes.
There
Yes.
are limits for some of these things, and I believe in keeping it professional. And you should, but you have to figure out that baseline for you. There's not any one perfect baseline. Like I talk to people every single day. People are DMing me every single day, and I respond to people because they're kind, and I'm just as kind back. But when they start, doing things like, "Hey, can I have your phone number?" No, you can't. And they're going to have to be okay with that, because they have to understand that there are lines, and I don't want everybody to have my phone number. It's very simple things like that, I have a lot of stories like this, man, where I just have to draw a line and I just say no. I have one in fact, it was a very uncomfortable situation. Granted, I don't care what somebody chooses to do or how they choose to live their life. I'm going to preface it with that. But a very, very popular person, who you would all know, spent a series of weeks messaging me constantly about, you should start an OnlyFans, and this was a man
Whoa.
doing this.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I said initially. I was like, whoa. It's not the first time I've been asked that, but that's way out of that's out of the boundary line. Like, man, first off, I don't care that you're gay. I'm not gay. I'm happily married. I love my wife. I love my kids. That's where I'm at. But no, I'm not gonna disrespect my wife by creating an OnlyFans account so you have something to look at and get your rocks off to. It's pretty, I get it. The culture of the world is very open nowadays. So I'm understanding. And I said, look, man, I was like, I'm married. I'm not making an OnlyFans. No, thanks. Like, I don't do that stuff. But it got to a point where, he would, he haphazardly, oh, I'm just joking. I'm just kidding. It's like, no, you're not, man. I know how these games are. I get it. But I had to sit there and send him a message, and I was very firm. And I said, look, I was like, I'm not doing it. If I'm happy being friends with you because you are very nice and you are cordial, except when you're not. I have my limits, and I said, you're at that limit, and I need you to be respectful of me and my wife and my family. And he said, you're right, no problem. And he's never done it again, so we're cool.
I guess so. That would be a situation where being very direct with somebody would potentially help solve that problem, right?
Yeah, sometimes you have to be direct, but you don't have to be an asshole about it. I mean, you can just you can say what you need to say, and you can get it out in a super professional way, or just in a cordial way. That's not like, F off. If you message me again, I'm going to call the police, or I'm going to come find you, and blah, blah, blah. Like, you don't have to do all that. People are people, and they're gonna people regardless. But that doesn't mean that we have to we have to be a jerk to everyone that we see either. Sometimes you do. Sometimes you got to go out of that wheelhouse, and that's only something that you can understand, and I can't understand for you or anybody else. Everybody has their lines. My line is I'm pretty understanding about pretty much everything, man. It's really, really hard to get to me about things. So I'm generally pretty cool, and if that guy would have crossed that line again, I would have just blocked him and left it at that. I wouldn't have said anything. I would have just straight up blocked him.
That makes total sense. I mean, I get it, and I know. Well, like, so to go back to the phone number thing, I am very weary about giving my number out to people.
Sure.
It's not, very few people have my number from online. I think there might be a total of about a half a dozen people who have it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's really taking me, and some of these people were people that sent me their number over a year ago, and it took meeting them in person to be like, okay, I'm good with you having this, right? Just because I am that, I'm just going to call it what it is. There's that paranoia there.
Sure.
You know? And is this going to be a situation where, you know, you're coming to me so much, I'm now living my life to appease you, right? And that's something that I think is a very hard. You don't want to go down that road, right? You don't want to go down that road of you make and this has nothing to do with being a creator. This has nothing to do with being on the internet in general. I'm just saying, as a whole, you should never have a friend, or you should never have somebody in your life that is consuming your entire existence. That is toxic. It's not healthy. It's not good. The only people that should be doing that at all should be your wife, your kids, your husband, immediate family, your brother, your sister, aunt, uncle, whoever, right? You know, your immediate tight-knit family unit should be the ones that consume you, not strangers, right?
Sure.
And that's something that I've been having trouble personally trying to find out where that line is of where do you draw that line to where it's like you open your phone in the morning, the first DMs you get are from this one person every morning, and then you find yourself last DMs of the evening, it's them again, right?
Is it for you personally? Is it becoming too much of a thing? Like, it sounds like
my friend.
Oh, I thought you were talking about you in this scenario, but
no, my friend, his name is Walter.
Okay.
Walter's been having this issue.
I'll call him Walt.
Walt. He's a good dude, man. He just, you know, he's going through some shit right now. But no, so and I think that's when you're starting to see I think you've already crossed the line. And once you've already crossed that line, how do you pull back from that and not do it in such a mean asshole-ish type manner, right?
Well, DMs and text messages are there for a reason. It's not to answer right away. It's to answer when you can and when you're available. And that should be the answer, is when you're available. And there shouldn't be a demand on your time. And if there is, then you should be getting paid for it. And if that's not the case, then somebody's going to get mad. And if they're going to get mad, then they're being unreasonable. It would be unreasonable for someone to expect you, knowing that you have a family and you have things that you need to do through your day, and you have your own tasks just as well as they do. They need to be understanding of the other side as well. You know, I have obligations just like everyone else. You know, my family's paramount, and nothing is going to get in the way of that. But I also have I still work full time. I have my job to tend to. I do a lot of things outside of all of this content creation stuff that is helping build all of it. And there are often times where I just can't message people. And so I don't. And I don't feel bad about that. I reply when I can. It's not a thing of disrespect. It's just that I don't have time to sit down. And it's wonderful that you're asking me about my day and what I did today, but I don't have time to respond to that. I just don't. You'll find out as you continue on that you'll run into some, very popular other creators and other personalities out there that you probably should surround yourself with that are interested in the things that you're interested in. Because I think if you surround yourself, for example, surround yourself by 5 millionaires and you'll become the sixth. And that kind of goes with everything. And if you start to surround yourself with like-minded individuals, you're gonna excel and be a little bit more successful on your ventures. And there are a lot of times where there's just not a place for certain personalities as well. And for you to cut those away is not you being selfish; it's you being understanding of your own position. As you should be, and people should be respectful of that in your time. But if anybody out there finds out that this person is messaging me day in and day out every day about things, it's not really that important. It's a problem every time I get a message from such and such person. It's always a complaint. It's starting to really wear on me. That's the line. When you start to take notice of that, that's the line. And it's up to you at that point to dial it back and be like, look, I'm not trying to be a dick here, but I don't care. I don't care about these problems. I don't need this. You got to tone it down. I don't mind talking to you, but there's a line, and we got to bounce this back and forth. And I need you to be understanding of this time in our relationship, whatever it may be. You don't have to entertain anything if you don't want to. But when it starts to really suck the life out of you and suck the soul out of you, and it becomes more of a task than it is a pleasure, then that's the line.
Right. I get exactly what you're saying. I am picking up what you're putting down one again. I really hope Walt's listening to this show tonight. I haven't seen him out there in the chat, but maybe he is listening. But dude, I think you're hitting the nail right on the head, and I think that Walt really needs to be a little bit more assertive when these situations arise.
People are going to get upset no matter what you do, Walt. If you're listening out there, people are going to get mad no matter what you do. I always use the example, whether you're religious or not, doesn't matter. It's the example that's made out of it. Jesus lived a perfect life, and they killed him anyway. So what would you expect to happen to you in your life? The same or worse? Probably worse. So you could live a perfect life. You could try to make everybody happy. Somebody would get pissed and call you a people pleaser. You're going to make somebody unhappy no matter what you do. You may as well do the things that you love, and if people don't like it, they don't have to be around it, and you don't have to entertain that, nor should you.
Hey preppers, do you want 10% off survival food? Go to www.readywise.com and use code DOOM10 at checkout for 10% off all your survival food needs. Again, that's code DOOM10 at checkout at readywise.com, DOOM10 for 10% off at readywise.com. Right on. And I think some of this is like I know Walt's going to be at Prep Stock this year, right? Mm-hmm. And like there is part of the side I think Walt may be worried about is what happens when these people show up at some sort of an event, and then what do you do? I mean, and it's like, hey, you haven't responded to my messages. Hey, there's been this, there's been that, and then they are stuck up Walt's ass 24/7. Like then Walt really has to be a dick, I guess.
You don't really have to be a dick, but that's clearly very much a problem that has to be addressed right then and there, and that's where you have to look. You have to look at them, and you have to turn around and say, "Hey, this is not happening here. This is inappropriate. I'm not here to entertain my guests and their personal issues. We are here at Prep Stock. We're hosting an event. This is work. This is professional time. This is not personal time. If there's off time, we can have this conversation. But right now, I've got an entire group of people who also need my time, and I can't spend my time right now dedicated to you being bothered by me messaging you." And if somebody's not getting that, then it's a them problem. That's not a you problem. You need to do everything that you can do up to a point until it becomes this little area where you've got to, not literally put hands on somebody, but put your hands up and say, "Stop. This is enough. And they can get mad about that, but they continued to push the issue. They've brought that issue upon themselves. And then all of a sudden I'm confused because I have to put this back in a certain square, and you're mad about it because you pushed it to this point. I don't understand what you're upset about. You brought it here. Surprise, I showed up. And now you're upset.
God, Walt's going to love all this advice, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I mean that pretty much, I guess, sums up a lot of the questions I had for Walt, because these are real issues, and there's people in this group right now that are content creators. Have Food Will Travel, Al. There's a few others in here who are actively going out and making content. Ba is one of them. So it's a situation where guys hear what Jake is saying and definitely listen and try to apply some of these things so you don't end up in a situation like Walt's in, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's all. And I mean, Walt would never stoop to the level of actively calling a specific person out or putting their name out there. Like, he would never do that. That's just not right. I know he doesn't believe in that.
Good.
But the advice is going to go a long way.
I hope not. Walt sounds like a good dude, and I wouldn't want to surround myself with people who feel the need to do that, because that seems overly dramatic and irresponsible. Especially with somebody who has any amount of followers on any platform, really. I mean, you have to Walt, you have to look at yourself at some point where we cross this line between you're no longer just a civilian and you become a leader of some sort in some respect. So you have to conduct yourself as such. I'm of the mindset that, lead by demonstration, lead by example. But the generals eat last. And so I kind of try to conduct myself in that way, is that I'm very giving of people who give their time to me, and I'm very respectful of people who are respectful to me. And a lot of times I do sacrifice my personal time, and I have personal conversations with people one-on-one quite often, really. And I always think back to I do that because I definitely do care about people, and I want people to succeed in whatever they're doing, and it doesn't just have to be content creation. I want people to succeed in life in general. So when they get a win, then I get a win. So I donate my time, and I'm happy to. And I lend a lot of time to people who do need just an open ear or any of that. And for some reason, I'm not really sure why, my whole life has been based around people trauma dumping on me. And I think it's because I have some pretty sound and pretty even level-headed advice. I'd like to think so. I'm no psychiatrist. I'm no psychologist. I just kind of I put my personal experience twist on things and my perspective on things, and I try to put it into a pretty rational tone. And pretty much most of the time, it's like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I should do that. And I'm like, yeah, you should. And it seems to work out.
I think one of the big things why maybe people come to you with so many things is because you're very non-judgmental, right?
Yeah, I don't judge anybody.
Maybe that's a big part of it. People feel comfortable opening up to you about things. It is almost like you're a therapist, man.
Kind of, man. Even my customers at work do it. You'd be surprised how many in a day do it. I sit there and have cordial conversations with people like, hey, I'm Jake, nice to meet you, yada yada, what's going on with this such and such thing, how can I fix it? And then as I converse with some of these customers, some of them literally end up trauma dumping on me, and then they apologize after, and I'm like, no, don't apologize. I was like, you feel how you feel, man. I'm happy to help you out and talk to you and listen. If it, is this a listening problem, or is this a conditioning problem? And usually it's one or the other. And I always present that question to people. Do you want an ear, or do you want advice? And they'll tell you what they need.
Very interesting. So to move on, maybe something would be good would maybe to have a nice little group session at Prep Stock.
Sure, man. I'm all for it.
And
I mean,
I'm saying it with a laugh, even though I'm not joking. I think that might be a very beneficial thing. Is to just kind of get everybody to sit down together. Not everybody, participate if you want. Get down and kind of put things out there that bother people out in the ether, and maybe just would be good for everybody to have, a little bit of time of everybody just hearing what they have to say and getting it out there, and maybe, bouncing some things off other people and getting some sound advice on things. People might need that. Yeah, group therapy, Ozarks. Now offered by the Cult of Doom.
I'm always happy to offer what little advice I can give, but mostly I'm down to listen. I'm completely non-judgmental, but some of you out here, we've spoken one-on-one plenty of times, and I think those people can definitely vouch. And people tell me things and they say, "Don't tell anybody." It's like, well, I planned on not telling anybody anyway. You're trusting me with stuff. It's not for anybody else. I know a lot of people get into the, like I said, the dramatics of things these days. I think that's one of the downfalls of being a content creator, is that I think that they feel like they have to do it in order to gain viewership, and what it becomes is a toxic environment for, they become the very thing that they feared, and it ends up consuming them, and they get caught up in the theatrics of things. But you'd be surprised, how many people come and just start dumping, and oh my God, I'm so sorry, I told you. Like, no, this is a private conversation. I'm not telling anybody anything. I mean, it's nobody's business. I'm really glad that you trusted me with it. That says a lot about you, but it says a lot more about me and how you see me, and I appreciate that. And sometimes that kind of raises some eyebrows, and they're like, yeah, I didn't really look at it that way, but now that I am, that makes a lot of sense. It's like, yeah, that, so I should be thanking you because you're showing me what kind of person I am. But listen to your crowd. They'll tell you what they need. And it's up to you to deliver with that or not, and continue on your route that you do and hope for the best. But I would say if you're out there while listening and you're trying to build some sort of content creation empire, you do have some semblance of a duty to listen to your crowd. Your customers will always tell you what they need, whether it's good or it's bad. Both should be received equally the same way. If you can accept the good things, you should also be able to accept the criticisms, as long as the criticisms aren't attacks. But you don't have to put up with the attacks. There's a block button for that.
This is an emergency action message. At approximately 1 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, NORAD is tracking 15 ICBM nuclear missiles inbound to the following cities: Orlando, Miami, Pittsburgh, Dover, Newark, Richland, Philadelphia, New York City, Baltimore, Los Angeles, Las Vegas, Boston, Seattle, Detroit. This is an extremely deadly situation. Stay tuned. The next emergency message will be a presidential address.